There's two types of drivers out there. Drivers who know how to protect their investment and drivers who don't. Car owners who know how to get more miles per gallon and owners who don't. We're talking people who know their Schaeffer and people who don't. Which one are you? From cars to trucks to diesel workhorses, whatever you drive, there's a Schaeffer synthetic oil for you. Do you know your Schaeffer? Ask for it at an automotive retailer near you.
Ever since I've switched to Schaeffer's oil, I've never had a reason to even try anything else. And that's one thing that I'm proud about, is the fact that I can't tell you how good something else is because I know how good Schaeffer's oil is. My engine builders, Tony and Glenn Clements, have said about the oil we run. They've told us that out of all the motors that they get and rebuild every year, ours looks the best, and a lot of that has to do with the oil that we run. One of the things that I love about Schaeffer's oil is the fact that all of their reps are out in the field and at the racetracks with us, seeing what all the racers need, seeing what ideas we have or anything that we can improve on. And you just can't beat the customer service of having a rep for, one of the main components of our race team, whether it's at our engine oil, transmission fluid, rear end oil, having somebody there that represents that brand and also gives us support and also the knowledge that we need to be making the right calls and just helping us out with our entire racing program. It means a lot to our race team to have that. My name's Chris Ferguson, and I drive the number 22 dirt late model. I've been using Schaeffer's oil racing products since 2009. I absolutely have no doubt that we're using the best products that is possible for dirt late model racing.
Well, hello and welcome to the finale of the Revolution Indy League, Schaeffer's IndyCar Series. This is race versus coverage, so we've got a good one here tonight for you. We've got a three-way battle, really. I'll bring up the points right here if I can make sure that's the right one. We've got Caleb Bency in P1. We're going to be talking about this a lot tonight. Gavin Sanders in P2, Nate Schaeffer in P3. So those are our championship rivals here. Good chance for Gavin Sanders, Caleb Bency, Nate Schaeffer coming from behind. Kind of an outside shot for him that we'll see how this develops. But joined here, as always, by Gary Godso in the booth. How's it going, Gary?
Hey, it's going good. Rarely we get to see, most time it comes down to a championship. Well, NASCAR now artificially inflates it by doing this Final Four going into the last race, and whoever wins the Final Four, the Final Two, whoever finishes ahead is the guy that does the champion. It's stupid. Let's still do points and everything, and rarely do we see in IndyCar history that more than two drivers really come into a final race with a chance to win. It's happened a couple times in IndyCar history, but most notably the most closest battles, ironically, kind of come to a finish here in IndyCar racing in Miami. The father-son battle between Al Unser Sr. and Al Unser Jr. In the mid-'80s, one of Al Unser Sr.'s last IndyCar championships. He beat his son by a single point. I think 1990, marred by the death of Greg Moore at Homestead, or excuse me, at Fontana. It was Montoya actually beat Dario Franchitti via a tiebreaker, who had the most wins that year, because they were deadlocked at the end of that race. And it might actually come to that here in this league. We might actually have to come down to the tiebreakers. We shall see, but we got three in contention. One is a long shot, like you said, and the other one, as I look at the points and using the drop weeks, right now it says Gavin by 15 under Caleb. Caleb has a 15-point lead, but if you take the drop weeks into account, and Caleb will be dropping his race at Phoenix, which he finished 23rd there. Ironically, it's also going to be the race that Nate's probably going to drop, where he finished 31st there in that crash fest, if you ever remembers that. You luckily missed that one, Matt. But they will be dropping those races, and those only really account for 7 and 5 points accordingly. So if you look at the difference in points at that point, because Gavin, he's going to drop one race because he did not start at Long Beach because of wheel issues. Gavin, that will be a 0-point drop, but just will be a straight up race drop. There's only 8 points difference between Caleb and Gavin right now, and 33 points difference now between Nate and the top spot. So it shrinks up a little bit, but not a lot. So now really we'll just be looking at a difference by just a couple positions between Caleb and Gavin as we go out through the night and see how that shakes out. Looks like Dakota got the point, bonus point for the pole, so that's not going to change any bit of the standings right now in terms of the championship 2 or 3. But Nate is P2, and he's going to start up front in a track that's hard to pass when these tires start getting worn in.
Well, let's start going through the grid here. So Dakota DeMade's going to go out, at least on the pole, as a pole sitter for a final race of the season here. He is our #1 driver until about an hour and a half from now. He'll be the #1 driver till next season when we have a new one. Nate Schaeffer, P2, so he's doing what he needs to do. Brody Garner, P3. Gavin Sanders doing what he needs to do in P4. Hayden Herman, good qualifying by him. Justin Miller in P6.
We got Drew Watt, our oval expert, P7. Joshua Tucker, good start for him in P8. Matthew Short with a great start for a road guy in 9th. Logan Spath in 10th. Caleb Bency starting deep in the lineup there at 11th. And Jonathan Lebator in 12th.
Christian Jasper, P13. Matt Cosgrove, we were talking about, he's an RIL old-timer, kind of OG RIL guy. JJ Wang there in P15. He was sliding up the track in those corners through practice. Christopher Hill, P16. Shane Coogan,
that's
P17.
a surprising one right there.
Very
surprising because he was top of the practice numbers pretty much all night.
And we've got pole sitter there from where was that at, Gary? Nashville. World War III in P18. So
yeah, he was pole sitter for all about 20 feet in that race. Yeah. Nicholas Johnson, 19th, West Shire, making a start for the league here in 20th. Nick Isidro starting with no time in 21st, and Neil Lusher doing his. I'm going to start from the rear bit and see how far he makes his way up the grid, starting on 22nd.
All right. Well, that is our grid here for tonight, and I've been looking forward to this one since it was announced. Homestead is just, it is a good championship track to have your finale here. Looks like we've got the pace truck out here tonight. I don't know about that particular choice of, but that is what we've got running here tonight. I would have gone with the iRacing sedan or whatever, the Camaro or something like that. Unfortunately, you can't do the Porsche pace car, but you can't do those on ovals, just FYI, Gary. But we're about to come to the green. Dakota DeMade having a special livery final race here. Looking pretty good there in the Echo Blade car.
Yeah, it's coming out. It's on Steam. Go check it out. We're getting ready to go green.
Green flag.
And here we go, our last race of the season. We are underway, heading onto turn 1, and it looks like Nate Schaeffer is going to get the drop on everybody.
Yeah, Nate had a pretty good start there. Gavin Sanders on the yeah, there it is, right there in the back. We've got about 6 cars involved in this one. No Caleb Bency, though. I thought I saw him in the back, though, for a moment. He is not involved at our championship leader, but we've got Shane Coogan. It might have been Justin Miller, might have been one of the top dogs.
Tucker, I think, was getting loose going into 1 and 2. Saw that one. I did see Justin Miller get caught up in something. Might have been related, unrelated, but there was a whole bunch of action coming off of from the middle of 1 and 2 to the exit of the backstretch. There was all sorts of stuff going on. Maybe we could take a look at the replay.
Yeah, it does appear that it kind of started from Justin Miller getting loose and on entry. I'm not sure how that happened. Cold tires.
Well, that's pretty. That is kind of typical, though, of when these cars coming up to speed. They don't generate the downforce they would at a normal lap. And so you kind of got to gingerly work your way with cold tires in a car that wants to break loose on you, at least for the first lap and a half. And typically what you do is you really set your weight jacker, go big time negative. And, sometimes people forget about that, and that's what start things off. But Okay, so there was multiple incidents. Looks
There
like
was Justin
Brody.
Miller and
Looks
Brody
like
here.
Brody got into it. Tucker was the one that I think I saw, and then Brody and Justin Miller had a contact with each other, and that was a little bit of um, net code involved in that
And I
one.
think Brody Gardner got away with that one completely, but Justin Miller just completely murdered in this one on that back straightaway. I've been there before where I got clipped and the car that clipped me and sent me into the wall just completely got away with everything there. But yeah, a lot of good cars out here tonight. Qualifying, all that important thing. It looks like a lot of the kind of the back half of the field. From 14th to 20th on pit road.
Yeah, that's going to be Jasper, Coogan, Tucker, Hill, Miller, Cosgrove, Shire. Some of these guys making their first laps in this series all season long. Just didn't even make it through the first turn there for one reason or another. Taking out, frankly, that's about a third of the field, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah,
Very
see,
unfortunate.
Jasper and Coogan are still rolling, but they're going to be a lap down. So it's just unfortunate. We had.
Now, remember, being a lap down here is not as bad as it normally would be in real IndyCar racing because they do have the lucky dog here. So, depending on who's ahead out of that battle, which right now I think timing and scoring is showing me as Christian Jasper.
Yeah,
Jasper, all he needs to do is survive to the next caution, and he will get the wave around. But here's the thing. When you weed down this field from 21 cars down to 13, the opportunities for caution become much fewer because after about 3 laps, these cars are really going to string out, and that's how it's going to be for a majority of the race, unless the driver up front has some sort of a mistake where they have to lift, just miss the corner, what have you, and allows for a pass. You're really not going to see very many opportunities for side-by-side racing here. And even though this is a track that used to invite pack racing, and it's at night, and we got cool temperatures here. It's only 79 degrees track temperature, 77-degree ambient. These are all conditions perfect for pack racing. You're just not going to have it here with this car.
Yeah, with that front wing, it's kind of a little bit smaller than that old front wing we had over in the IRO 5. We just don't have it, like you said. I see Nicholas Johnson, I think, is our biggest mover, starting 19th. He's up to 12th just through sheer
determination.
Yeah, just a bunch of cars out of this, and it's just unfortunate. We had a smaller field. We started the season with 30 plus cars. We had bumping at the beginning of the season, and we've whittled our way down to 20 cars, and we still have a pretty big incident there in the first corner. So it's just unfortunate that we're going to have a race with 13, 14 cars, and as you said, there's just going to be less cautions. We're going to run this pretty green flag at this point. Of course, these drivers are going to be, whether that happens or not. Nate Schaeffer, though, he's where he needs to be.
Absolutely. And with that many cars dropping out, that really helps his situation.
Mm-hmm. Well, one part of it's scary, and I know you didn't say it, but I'm just going to say it as me and you they're very good at math, so we're going to be relying on our administrators to tell us who is the champion here tonight at the end of this race. We can guess, but they're going to really confirm it for us.
Yeah, if we get another caution, I might be able to do some calculations and find out kind of where we are as we run, but we're getting ready to go green. Dakota taking a peek on the outside, thinking about making a run at it. And we are underway again at Homestead Miami Speedway.
We're going to see a lot of different lines in these corners as these drivers try to find some downforce on that front wing. Oh, we've got World War III, I think it was, hitting the apron along with West Shire.
Just a rough start for West there.
No caution, though. No caution, because this is off track. That's how we do things over here in iRacing.
Yep, and also pit in. This is one of the rare ovals that the IndyCar needs to pit in off of turn 3. Otherwise, it's a penalty. So these guys are taking the correct pit in. Otherwise, they would get a black flag for an unsafe pit entry coming off of 4.
And Dakota just like hugging. He got around Gavin Sanders there for P2. He's just hugging that wall on the top side of the track.
And that is what the Cup folks like to say, the Larson line, and it seems to. Oh, here comes Brody Gardner after having that incident at the start of the race. Apparently, not much damage. Drew washes up just a little bit. Going to crowd Gavin up against the wall. Not too bad there, but he's definitely on the underside. The low line is not the fastest line. Yet another one of those tracks where the low line, come qualification time, is the fastest line, but come race time, the low line is not the fastest line.
Yeah, it's really kind of deceiving. You can feel like you can take a low line on corner entry here, but then you're just going to wash up that track. And you can see just as Brody did there. Drew White in 5th position battling with Hayden Herman. Hayden going inside there. Looks like he's going to make that position. I heard some tire screeching there, so I don't know if that was from one of these guys or what. Looks like we are down to 12 cars on the lead lap at the moment. Shane Coogan passing Christian Jasper, so he'd be the lucky dog if we got one.
Right.
We got a caution. So I would assume if we were doing live points, I think that Gavin might actually be our champion at this position here. It's really, really close here. Caleb's going to have to make up some ground. And Nate, although he's in P1, he's going to have to see some unfortunate events to take place for Caleb and Gavin. Nate's got this special chrome livery here for the night. Midwest Kidney Warriors on the side of that car.
Yeah, I think you wanted to shave a little bit of that green off and maybe try to get rid of the bad driving juju. Now it looks like Brody has pulled off that pass on Gavin. And now Gavin's looking back underneath him here. The draft does work. Again, no pack racing, but the draft does work here.
And Gavin maintains that position. They're kind of both catching up to Dakota up there in P2. That gap to P1 from Dakota, about 1.5 seconds at this point. Drew White getting back around Hayden Herman back there for P5.
Yeah, it looks like just Nate's just kind of pulling away. He's got clean air. He's got the purple lap of the session already, 206.931. Nowhere near track record, folks. We'll talk about track records here in a little bit when we get a chance, but most everyone in the pack is 204, 205, 206s, some 203s, some even a little bit slower than that, but most everyone's kind of across the board. This is another one of those ovals that it looks like a super speedway, but it does not drive like one.
Yeah, and particularly these drivers were complaining about the setup here today, that it just wasn't as inviting for kind of making these passes happen. But we see these drivers back here that are making something work here.
Yeah, Dakota's barely at the back end of the draft envelope for Secret. He's at 1.5 seconds. He's at risk right now of losing it.
Yeah.
Once he loses it, that number that you're going to see now at 1.6, that number is really going to jump up here in the next couple of laps. And in fact, it's getting ready to go 1.7 here very shortly. So I think he has lost that draft. Now, strategically, though, really, if these guys are going to turn down the wick a little bit, they might be able to get a couple extra laps out of this run versus Seifert, who's up there all by himself with no one to help him, albeit in clean air, but he's punching a hole in the air all by himself.
Yeah, I think in terms of pit strategy, I think the fuel is about 50 laps here.
Yeah, 50 laps, and then that's how the Indy Fix does it. Is a 1.5-mile ovals tend to be about 50 laps on a run, so they do about 75 lap races. Pit windows tend to open up right around 22, 23, 24, 25 laps, give or take, whatever it is you're trying to do in that window. And then that's kind of how it works here. So 50 laps. So we're looking at definitely a two-stopper. So one at 50, one at 100, and then the one at 100 will be a short one to the end.
Caleb Bensi getting around Hayden Herman there for 6th position. So good for Caleb. and securing his third championship here. So tonight we're either going to have a repeat champion. This would be third time for Caleb. Not back-to-back, though. He won the first 2 seasons. Dakota won the last one. Either that, or we're going to have a new champion in Gavin Sanders or Nate Schaeffer. Although I do think with the attrition we've already had, that might be it might already be game over for Nate up there. But he just got to go home and get this win instead of that.
That's about what you have to do. Is if you can't be in total control, just do absolutely everything you can within your own power, and just hope the math works out for you.
Yeah, that's all you can really do. Wow, Gavin really high. It almost looked like he was brushing up against that wall up there. Yeah, that lead for Nate Schaeffer up to 2.3 seconds now. This battle is really for P2. Is like we're pretty close together from P2 to heck, almost back to 10th. Like there's only about a half second between everybody there, but just that big gap up to P1 and then a gap back to about 11th. And Garner also going really high in that corner. Check out an onboard view. Let's check out Matthew Short. He's battling with Nicholas Johnson, one of his teammates, a de facto teammate. Not here, but we've got 3 cars, in fact, for this Infinite team. Johnson will tell you he's not a big oval guy, but he's
doing pretty good. He's doing pretty good tonight.
He's moved up to, let me see, he's moved up 11 spots so far here tonight. Not sure, I think JJ was involved in that first lap incident, wasn't he? Or I don't exactly
Joined
recall,
JJ on the lead lap,
yeah,
so if he did, yeah, he only got minor damage and maybe has some damage that's kind of impacting his pace. He's 17 seconds behind the leader, which is about a half a lap here. So as they cross the start-finish line, he's in the middle of the back stretch.
Yeah, he's got a pretty big gap from 11th to 12th there. He's got 5 seconds behind Spath. That lead for Nate nearly at 3 seconds.
Yeah, I told you once he got out of that 1.5 second envelope of Dakota, he would start pulling away. This is a real interesting track in the way that it's had its history, not just with IndyCar in general, but just its history since it was built. Of course, it was built on demolished lands from the hurricane that came through that wiped out much of South Florida. And they use it as a redevelopment for tourists to come here. So they put a racetrack here. And the idea originally is they put a little mini Indy 4-corner, mile-and-a-half quad oval, or it's going to be quad. Well, I guess you want to call it a quad. It's quad turns, not a quad oval as we would define it with the double dog legs in the front stretch like at Charlotte or Texas. But it was deemed really not a very safe track because of that, because the entry to the walls and impacting the walls was very shallow and allowed for not a lot of speed to be scrubbed off and some acute angles to be really thrown upon a car that shouldn't happen to be a car. Of course, Joe Nemechek lost one of his kids there in a truck wreck, a NASCAR Truck Series wreck. So they reconfigured it to then a flat oval, akin to more like a mile-and-a-half New Hampshire or Milwaukee. Then, and about a couple years after they did that, then they decided that they would add some banking to it. And then after a couple years after that, they made it progressive banking. So there is actually 5 different types of IndyCar records here based upon the track configuration. Jimmy Vasser holds the mini Indy record when Kart ran there. The flat Kart record is Greg Moore. The flat IRL record is Tony Kanaan. The banked the first reiteration of the bank track is Buddy Rice, and the final progressively banked configuration is Sam Hornish Jr. And he managed to have a track record that still stands to this day at 218.539 miles per hour setback. Hold on to this one. So it's just to tell you, wow, this track record is probably going to last here for a while. 2006.
Yeah, well, if we could return here and we've got these
Well, I'm not
900
even sure.
horsepower with an asterisk next to it.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure these IR18s with these small wings would be able to produce speeds of that magnitude. I could definitely see them, in the 210, 211, 212 range, along the lines of kind of what Kart did here, because they ran the small wing configuration here. And that really impacted the way that they ran. And of course, they were known for having big horsepower, small, low downforce.
Yeah.
So it was more into the driver's hands versus some of the races the IRL ran here, especially in the bank track. They were big time pack races.
We're really starting. Everybody's kind of spreading out right now.
Yeah, this was really bad. I mean, if we're looking at the gaps, the intervals per car, I mean, it is very uniform around this track at the moment.
Other than Brody Garner and Gavin Sanders, because that's what we've got the camera on at the moment. Just wanted to.
Yeah, if you look at the intervals between each, it's 3 seconds back to Dakota, second and a third back to Gavin, who's in a pretty tight battle there with Brody, a second and a half back to White, about a half second back to Bincy, about another half second or so back to Herman. So it's very uniform throughout most of the top 10. The biggest drop off is between Short and Spath, and there seems to be about 3 seconds there, 4 seconds there.
On board with Brody Garner. You can just see if Gavin goes low, he goes high. And if Gavin goes high, Brody goes low.
Yeah, that's you go where the guy in front of you isn't to get the air on those front wings. That's how bad the aero push is here.
Yeah, and that's a feature at every IndyCar track. However, this one's just, even more. Because there is room to go everywhere here, so.
And there certainly is no lack of grip in the surface. The surface has plenty of grip. It doesn't have any of those really harsh winters that you see up north. It's pretty smooth track, to my understanding. My understanding also, the drivers really do like it there, and they really would like to come back. And we were talking kind of before that this might be one of the tracks we see get added back to the IndyCar schedule, and there is a gaping hole for another oval on the schedule. And if they could fill that with like a Homestead and maybe return back to Pocono or something, and maybe even think about going back to Michigan, I would say definitely consider those three. And that's it. Don't do anything else. That's all I would ever ask for.
Hey Gary, I got a question for you, because I asked this to somebody, to the RIL Illuminati earlier today, or maybe it was yesterday. And I bet I do know the answer from you, but with the IndyCar, real life IndyCar starting the season this weekend, February 27th, Brody Garner about to, I'm going to cut off that, battling with side by side with Gavin Sanders. I'll get back to what I was just talking about here, though. Gavin trying to come back on the outside. Yeah, Brody Garner just finally had a moment to try to make it happen, but I'm not sure it's going to work. Side by side they go. But he does want to get around Gavin. And for the moment, he makes it around. Gavin comes back on the inside. The battle continues.
And we forgot to mention that Nate was up there with lap traffic for a little while. That was allowing Dakota to kind of close in a little bit. Last time by, Nate was a 26.7. Dakota was a 26.6, a little bit faster.
Ooh, Brody, I don't know if this... he brushed the wall. I don't know if that was just our broadcast or that actually happened in his car. So he just kind of slid up the track.
So we are probably looking at about pit stops here in the next 10 to 15 laps, give or take. Probably over that 10 mark. I'm sure closer to that 15, considering we opened with that caution.
Okay, so back to my question for you, Gary. IndyCar starting this week, February 27th. Have you ever watched an IndyCar race while there was snow on the ground in your front yard?
Yeah. Well, I mean, remember the IRL used to open up in January.
This is how I knew your answer was that, but
at
nobody
the
else
Walt
had
Disney
this answer.
at the Walt Disney World Speedway, and it
Yes.
was always this really weird. It was like the week. Originally, it was the week
Super
before
Bowl,
the Super Bowl,
probably,
and then it was the week. No, I thought they did it one time the day of. I could be wrong.
That sounds like a bad idea.
Well, yeah, but if you do it during the day and then everyone leads into, and we got Johnson in the pit, so short, so we got 2 in the pit road now that says they've had enough, and that is probably a team decision. But yeah, the early IRL days, they would have that race at Disney in January.
Yes.
And then the next time you saw the
red
red cars on the track would be like March.
Mm-hmm.
And then would be at Phoenix. And they're just so stupid they had that big long gap. But also back then, keep in mind, a lot of those teams were on shoestring budgets. So in order to get to that second strip, they needed to probably take out additional loans on homes and stuff like that.
Yeah,
just
I remember. I remember in those days, I had no clue what they were even talking about. But it's like, this person took a mortgage on their house to get their Indianapolis 500 entry.
Yeah, Jim Guthrie. Guthrie's the one that most notably is the one that gambled on his own career and probably came the closest to winning when he had that big slug out with Tony Stewart at Phoenix, and then after that, probably the most underdog win ever in IndyCar history, to be honest with you, and never heard from again after a big wreck at Indianapolis.
Yes, that's right. Caleb Bency battling with Drew White up here side by side.
So watching right now, Nicholas Johnson, after making that stop on pit road, he just blew by Christian Jasper for the 9th spot. He's now coming up on Shane Coogan for 8th. Look at what these new tires are doing as he runs
undercut
down.
Yeah.
So they are playing the undercut here, and he is just running down Shane Coogan. And Shane Coogan, we know for a fact that this guy's no slouch on an oval.
Yes.
And we also know Johnson is more of a road course guy. Johnson just flat out run him down.
I think that the strategy here is for a 125 lap race is perfect for an undercut here. And I know, because I race with them a lot, that, say, Dakota and Caleb, I don't know Gavin as much, but they are going to try to run these tires as long as they can, hoping that, they don't want to get caught out by a caution.
Right, and that's Caleb's MO, and I've learned that from working with him and spotting for him in the Lionheart, where we tried to gamble and pit a lap or two early, and that kind of came back and bit us in the ass. But he's like, man, I should have just stuck to my guns and pit normally just when the tires are done and the tank is dry. So some people are like that, but there's other people right now that are willing to take a bit of a gamble to improve track position, and looks like right now that under is working. Johnston up to 8 as he's running down Herman, and still Herman, White, Vinci, Sanders, DeMade, Garner, Secret, all these guys have to pit.
Yeah, and I know Dakota's that way too, and he'll hate me for saying this, but I'll say he's ran those tires down to 0% before, and he did not pit. Brody Garner into the pit lane here.
Yeah, now I'm wondering if anyone noticed that the Infinite team decided to pit, and how their times were moving, and if Garner, someone else is pitting here too. I heard him call on the radio. Not sure who it was, but if Garner was watching his time or had someone watching his time, he probably would have said, "Hey, man, those Infinite guys are eating it up at the moment."
Michael Heinekamp in chat kind of giving us a good calculation of what will win. Nate Schaeffer into the pit lane. Dakota DeMade's going to stay out. No surprise there. Caleb Bency also going to stay out.
So very, very critical. Here comes Gavin. Gavin decided to dump down here too. Now, very, very critical. Do not miss your pit stall. Hit your marks.
Here
not
is
getting any penalties on pit road.
I can tell you Caleb and Dakota's, like, their reasoning for staying out is this is a tricky entry to pit lane as well as exit, and a driver spins out, exiting the pits.
Nate Secret, extremely quick stop there.
But that could be a caution. You don't want to spin out and bring out a caution coming out of the pits and get your race completely hosed by something like
Caleb
that.
on pit road.
There it is. Dakota's still out there. He's coming into. He's on the lane.
So this is going to turn over the lead to Drew White's on pit road. So Hayden Herman, he's on pit road. So Caleb.
I'm going to look at Brody Garner and Schaeffer. where they're gonna match up here.
Seifert is out. Garner is now in 5th spot. And he is going to...
I think Garner is going to get around Dakota, but we'll see how that race comes out when he comes out of the pits.
If Brody was doing any type of dirt tracking, he'd be riding that... what they call the cushion up there.
Yes, he's been doing it all race. Like I said, he brushed up against that wall at one point in time, but he kept going.
Well, we just saw Hill hit the wall there. Now, the thing is, when you're that close to the wall, when you do hit the wall, you're really not hitting it that hard.
Yeah, I did that, and Indy fixed this at Pocono this week. I did it. I didn't see, like, I brushed the wall and exit at one time, and I did not see or did not feel anything from that. So look at where Garner is compared to Dakota. That is the difference on that undercut. That Garner's in second,
and even Sanders for that matter.
And Johnston is ahead of Dakota.
Yeah. So if they've learned something, they've learned that their next stop, they're going to have to probably get in early, making that last run a lot longer run than they want.
Yeah. Dakota getting around Johnson. Johnson's tires are, they're 12 laps into a stint now, but I think it's a really good he's up from 19th. Obviously, he was got around some cars that had unfortunate days, but he's up to 5th. So Garner is about 2.5 seconds ahead of Gavin Sanders. Yeah, I think our championship is entirely Gavin or Caleb at this point. I think we needed a lot of cars to start this race, and Nate to win, plus Caleb and Gavin DNF with a lot of cars for Nate to have any chance of winning a championship here tonight. Shane Coogan into the pit lane. He had got his lap back, but now he's going to be going back down.
Yeah, he had to stop and was off.
Yes.
Sequence there.
Yeah. So now, okay.
I'm trying to do some math here.
Caleb Bensi, if you check the chat, Michael Hennekamps kind of sorted some stuff out for us, but Caleb Bensi battling with Johnston here, trying to regain his 5th spot. I hear some banging up against the wall up ahead of him. Not sure.
So if Caleb finishes, he's got 387 points with the drop week. So he's going to drop 7 from his 394. So 394 minus 7 is 387. And with the position he's in now, which is 6, which we award 28 points for 6, that gives him a total of 415. Gavin's at 379. He's dropping 0 points because he didn't have a start, if I'm understanding this correctly. So 379 is what he's going to have. There's no points taken away from his total. Then the difference is 8, and his current position is 2nd, which is now 40 points because he made up with that position. He now has a 4-point lead over Caleb. Caleb should be 415. Gavin should be 419 if I'm doing this right. And then Nate is now P1. That's 50 points. He's at 404. So it's all getting that drop week calculated. Ooh, yeah. Brody Gardner down on the white line gets the car kicking out on him, but he gets back underneath him. But that's all about the drop week, though, and it's different because you have the drop race, but there's no. Gavin's having that race drop, but there's no points taken away from his points because he didn't earn anything that race.
Yeah. Well, he had that. I think he had a wheel go bad or something like that.
He had a wheel. Yeah.
Yeah. So luckily he got that fixed. We saw a battle between Caleb and Johnston. They were kind of running side by side, but then they got involved with some lap traffic, and Caleb was able to get clearly ahead of Johnson. He's a good 2 seconds ahead of him already now. Setting his sights up ahead on Dakota now.
Now for the drop races I'm using, and I'm going just by their worst finish. It's Caleb finished 23rd as his worst finish at Phoenix. and that's Nate's worst finish, where he finished 31st there. And then we have a DNS for Gavin at Long Beach. Those are the two races and 3 drops that I'm actually using in the math. If it's right or wrong, it's in the general neighborhood, I'm guessing. And right now, Gavin Sanders running down Gardner.
Yeah, he is. I just saw that. He brought it back to under a second. Of course, as he gets closer, he's going to start getting more of that dirty air. And, you talked about the draft, but you also get that dirty air. So at times it can be better just to drive on your own and that whole thing. You get the best, no dirty air, that kind of thing. Drew White's got Johnston ahead of him, so kind of next victim there for Drew White. And Johnston's just kind of surviving on these tires until he can find his earliest time to pit here.
So, and also did not take into account the 1 point people get for leading a lap and 2 laps for the most laps led. So right now, Seifert's got the most laps, and so basically he's at 4:07. I can't. Did Gavin lead a lap at all?
Don't believe so, but
no,
so Johnston just brushed the wall, so that's not going to help.
Gavin pitted at the same time as
Schaeffer.
So,
yeah, it was Dakota who stayed out, and he went as long as he could.
Caleb led a lap. So right now, your bonus points guy is Nate. So he gets the pole, and right now for leading a lap, and right now he's led the most laps. So he's got 3, but he get as many as 4. So it's 4:07 for Nate.
By the way, you remember how Matthew Short and Johnston pit at the same time?
Yes.
I'm seeing a 1.5-minute pit for Short, so I bet he got speeding on entry or exit.
Yeah, you got to watch it. We said that's very critical. You're trying to keep as much speed as you come around the corner on the pit access road, but then as soon as you hit that cone, you got to be down to 55, 50 here.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what it is here, but it's slow. It's slow.
Yeah, some speed that's much slower than it needs to be because this is programmed by NASCAR people and not IndyCar people.
Yeah, this is the thing. Like, there was a thread on the forums about how we needed to have. Oh, we've got somebody. I heard a bang. It sounded either like somebody blew up their engine or crashed into the wall.
Well, we have Sanders 3/10 now behind Gardner. And what's impacting Gardner is what's directly in front of Gardner. Gardner has Wang, Coogan, and Short right in front of him. Specifically Coogan and Wang that are really going to impact his aero push, and that's just allowing Gavin to get closer and closer and closer.
No, there was a thread on the forums about how it'd be good to have like less cautions, or no, wait, they wanted more cautions. They were like, if you get a meatball flag, there should be a caution. Like how real life, if you an IndyCar brushes the wall in real life, they're throwing a caution on an oval. However, I was thinking, having a pace car that actually drove the right speed, that could help. Having pit lane speeds that are IndyCar speeds, that would help. So those are some of the easier things that they could do. I keep hearing like somebody bouncing off the wall.
Yeah, there is somebody. I keep hearing it myself.
Yeah, I don't know if that's lagging or what. Is it Shane up there or is it JJ? JJ gets out of the way for Brody.
Now, there's Brody into the wall that time.
Yes, he did. He did. Meanwhile, Gavin Sanders back here, I'm going to go on board with him. He's kind of licking his lips seeing that happen. But I've seen Brody do that several times this race, and he's still running pretty quick.
Well, like I said, I mean, when you're running that close...
It certainly doesn't help. Johnston is out, so he might have been that big bang I heard.
So I'm hearing someone hold your line. I think that might have been Gavin telling JJ to hold his line. Again, I don't. JJ's still kind of learning oval racing at this point. If I'm between 2 leaders like this, and there's a battle for position going on, JJ is nowhere near any of his competition on the racetrack. I kind of let these guys go.
He's 5 laps down, so
yeah, he's in the middle of the battle right now. So I kind of let these guys go. Believe me, I know Gavin will remember this going forward. People will remember
Yeah, we do. We do.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't? And right now, Gavin needs this position.
Yeah, but I'm also thinking back to, you know how Gavin ran down Brody all quickly like he did? That's because these cars that are now holding up Gavin were holding up Brody back then. So.
Yep. Want to look at
50 laps to go, by the way, so we're coming down really quick here.
Yeah, so I'm just looking at the stints now. We got Schaeffer with 25 laps, 26 laps for Gardner, 25 laps for Gavin, 23 for the DeMay, 24 for Bency, 31 for Snap. He's the longest, so we're probably going to see him hit any time now. Matthew Short has 29. Just said who was out now. Johnston, that would have been really curious to see how he would have shaken out because he was among the leaders. Ooh, man. Oh, Brody Gardner comes right up in front of, I believe that was Short. Short might have kissed the wall a little bit. That might have been a close clear.
Yeah, we've got some really some slide jobs going on, and I keep seeing, I see some sparks going into turn 3 from time to time because the people are getting so close to that wall.
Well, like I said, when you're that close to the wall, when you hit it, it's really not going to hurt. And apparently it hasn't. And it looks like Gavin is around JJ, so he's going to set sail for Short. Again, if I was Short, if I saw Gavin coming, I'm just going to move over and let him on by and not impact this battle. But, man, Seaford has just led about every single lap he's got.
8 seconds
I don't
ahead.
think I just don't think he's going to have enough help here to help him in the championship. He's going to do everything he can.
He did what he's
got to take your hat off.
But
he's still got a ways to go, so we got to see what happens. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everybody in this championship battle is doing what they need to do. Like Caleb, you know, he didn't have to go out here and win this race. He just kind of had to keep his championship rivals in his view. And that's what he's doing here.
Yeah, so as they run now, see, we got Seifert in first, which is going to be 50 points. We got Sanders in third, which is 35 points.
We have 8 cars on the lead lap.
And we have Caleb in fifth, which is 30 points. Okay, so I got Caleb by 3.
Yeah,
Gavin now. So Gavin really needs this position. Really. This is 5 points. So he really needs this position. And you know what? It's gonna suck at the turning so many laps after an entire season that started back when I forget when we started the season. Back in December, I think.
January. Oh, wait, sorry. Yeah, early December. You're right.
This is going to come down to one position on the racetrack. That's all Gavin needs. That is really going to. I mean, that missed race is so critical now.
Yep. It really is.
But right now, the way Brody keeps smacking that wall,
yeah, it could happen.
It could happen. And also, you know, Gavin might have saw something on the under and might just think about, you know what? Let's screw it. The math's going to work out. Let's pit now. Let's get under and maybe get that position on Brody. So this is very critical, maybe getting this under. But right now it's 4:17 Caleb, 4:14 Gavin, and 4:07 Nate. And that includes Nate's bonus points of at least 3. Most laps led, leading 1 lap. Well, I added 3, so let's just go 2. So 4:06 for we won't give him the most laps led. He's close to it though.
Caleb getting
he's got the pole, which is 1, and 1 lap, which is also 1. You know, also staying out and getting a lap led here. Maybe he wants to do that, and maybe I'll help him out.
Yeah. I think if I was Gavin, I would try to do an undercut here.
Yeah,
like maybe about 5 laps.
This point,
Yeah.
At this point, I would absolutely 100% gamble. I have nothing to lose. The worst I'm going to do is probably second place, maybe third. Let's do it. Let's absolutely do it.
That's what I'd do, and hope the caution doesn't come out. But it's even then you're probably pretty good even if the caution comes out, because you're gonna get that wave around. So
I got when did let's see, Johnston came in 42 laps on his first stint, which included caution. Gavin's at 50. Gavin might want to think about hitting pit road about any time now, and to equal kind of what Johnston did.
Yeah, I'm thinking at most go 3 more laps and just bring it in.
And take my hat off to Brody Gardner on this as well, because he's relative newcomer to the league. No one really knows him. He's put some good races underneath his belt this season on the ovals and the road courses. Hope he shows back up again next year, and I'm sure when he shows up again next year, I'm sure he's going to be on someone's quote-unquote team, if he's not on someone's team already.
Did you see his oval iRating though, Gary?
No.
It is a 5,000.
5,000.
So he knows what he's doing out here on these ovals.
We need to see him in the top split, man. We need to see him on our Monday show.
Yep. I'm still hearing some banging. I don't know if you're banging off the wall.
I
again from somebody.
I am definitely hearing.
I think it might be Hill, who's already many laps down. Yeah, here's that lap 90 target that I said. That's when I do it, but what do I know?
Yeah, you look at this place from the air.
Here he comes.
Here comes Gavin. Just as what we're thinking. Yeah, good call. Good call on your part. One more extra. Careful, Gavin. Keep it on the road. Okay, now, Gavin, make sure you keep it to pit road speed limit. There he goes. Good job. I think he made it. Now all you need to do is hit his marks and make sure that he has everything set properly, so he gets the tires and the fuel, and he can go to the finish.
This will be interesting to see. We've got Nate Schaeffer now 10 seconds ahead of Brody Garner. Nate getting around. It was World War III there.
Yeah, World War III was just saying, hey, if you get to me, I'm going to let you by.
Yep.
It's my great stop by Gavin. 8.2 in the box, 31.5 on pit road. He is down and away. He is done for the season. Pit crew can put the virtual tools away. They're done.
Pack it up and head on home. But here's where he wants to make sure he gets out on clear track.
And he is.
He's got some cars coming, but I think he's going to be plenty ahead. So he just wants
I think he's going to be plenty ahead, certainly because he's going to have these great tires underneath him, and I think some of these other cars are having issues one form or another. So now he's at the speed, going to pull away. Okay, so now we're going to watch him, and we're going to keep an eye on now Brody Gardner.
Drew White in the pits, but yeah.
Nate Seifert there, yeah. Oh, Seifert, Gardner so close to the wall.
Yeah, he knows how to drive it. You were talking with Larson Line. I think he's a bit of a expert in NASCAR. That's where he's got his oval iRating, so he knows how to put a car out there.
Okay, Caleb on pit road. So this is Caleb's final stop of the season.
So I think Caleb reacting a little bit to Gavin doing that undercut.
And I'm sure, well, keep in mind, they're probably all working together a little bit. So I'm sure that once you pit, I'll pit type thing. That way pit road's clear.
I thought Caleb would have learned that lesson from that Fontana race where I pit and then he pit or whatever, and he didn't want to do it.
Yeah, well, he's willing to gamble this time.
Yeah. Brody Garner into the pits.
Okay, this is going to be interesting. Here he comes, Brody, around pit road. It's a lot harder than it looks. Flat, sandy.
Yeah, you
greasy.
can tell he's a little bit loose.
Here he comes. He is hustling it. That's going to cost him some time. That is really going to cost him some time. And here comes Dakota trying to get around. Okay, so guess what? That position's done. And Gavin made a wise decision. He got in on a pit road. He's going to get that position. And that is going to be valuable points in the championship right there. So we'll watch Gavin, middle of the backstretch, coming into turn 3. And I don't think Brody has made it to his stall yet.
Yeah, I think Caleb, Gavin, Dakota, maybe even Drew White going to get around Brody there.
Yeah, Gavin by.
And all Nate has to do, he's got such a lead, he doesn't need to undercut this thing at all. So
Okay, Gavin's coming up on Jasper. Jasper's letting them on by. That is awesome of him. So that is going to now move Gavin on the racetrack up to P3. And we still have Hayden Herman yet to stop, as well as Nate Seifert. Herman, and keep in mind, I think Gavin is also a lap down.
Yes, he
as
is.
Herman and Seifert are a lap up on there. We usually lose a lap here in the pits, just because of it's a mile and a half and
Nate
you're
into
on
the
pit
pits.
road so slow. Nate into the pits again, going to hit his stop, going to hit his marks. Very critical point right here. The last stop of the year.
Hayden Herman also into the pit lane.
Hayden's having a great race.
Yeah, you know, I had some information that he was thinking about not running this one, so...
Those are typically the ones you do well in.
Exactly.
Because you're like, who cares? You know,
Yeah.
you got your low expectations. Nate is
Takes
down
a
to
little
the
bit of
way.
that pressure off, yeah.
7.9 seconds. He was in the box quicker than Gavin because there was a shorter fill. So he's actually going to pull on Gavin here.
He's gained a ton of time. Oh, no, wait. Sorry, I'm looking at Herman. So. But still, he's gained 3.5 seconds is what I'm seeing right now. 4 seconds. It was like 10 seconds Seifker's lead. So that is a significant amount of time. That he's
and Sanders is now within 5 seconds of that, and now he's in P2. So let's settle down where everyone is now made their pit stops. I think Caleb stuck a lap down. No, now he's
third. Yeah.
So now he's third. So let's look at how the points now shuffle out. It's still 50.
Our top three are in the top three, but in in an order where they're just going to stay exactly where they were.
Well, it's the cream rising to the top here. So 50 points for Nate still remains the same. We now have 40 for Gavin and 35 for Caleb, and it's still Caleb by 4 actually now. 422 by 3, 422 to 419.
I bet there could be some mind games being played here, but Dakota is 7/10 behind Caleb. I could see Dakota playing some mind games with Caleb up here. He's gonna try to pressure him. Maybe we'll see if he does. Because if he doesn't complete a pass around him, he's getting around Jasper right now. He could cause issues for Caleb there. So Drew White not quite able to get around Brody Garner. So Brody maintaining in 5th. So he dropped second to 5th.
What Brody's incident on pit road did really is it also allowed not just Gavin to get by, but it allowed Caleb and Dakota to get by. So if it was just a simple mistake of allowing one car to get by, now we would be talking different math.
Yes.
But since 3 cars got by, the math is still making it to that Caleb is still going to be the champion at this point. So still got
Garner really high again. He had Drew White. Jasper up ahead of him, and he kind of followed him.
Okay, he is not happy with somebody.
Who's that, Garner?
Yeah, Garner.
Yeah, I think it was Jasper who he was not happy with. So, Jasper was a lapped car, but I didn't see anything wrong with what he was doing. Gavin Sanders getting around Shane Coogan. Nate Seifker it helps to be in the lead, but whatever tools he was running in terms of anti-roll bar and his weight jacker, he's just able to pull away from everybody else here tonight.
Well, if it's anything like how I set my car up here, it's probably set up very, very loose. Because that's about the only way. And my understanding is that the setup might be different than before. And so...
Yeah, it sounded even more plowy than it used to be. So And even though, I mean, these are night, this is a night race, and they're still, it seems a little slow, like those lap speeds that we're running. So.
Yeah, Nate 25.5 set that really early. We have not seen anything. He's 3/10 away. I mean, I wouldn't say remotely close at that point. He's kind of just cruising here. And just as I said after that caution, I said after you get that many cars out and you only got 13 cars remaining, you get strung out. There's not a lot of side-by-side opportunities where you're going to get, possible wrecks. Now, there have been many side-by-side battles we've seen, but if anything, they've at worst just held someone up and not wrecked anybody yet. So
yeah, we had one issue.
It just stays that way.
Right after the caution, like the last caution, we did have one incident, but they, they came off of 2 and they were on the apron of the track, so it doesn't bring out a caution. With that said, Brody Garner is catching Dakota up there for 4th, so that's kind of the battle that I'm going to look at, just trying to find the closest battles on the track.
And it's pretty safe to say now at this point in time that Nate has also swept. He got the pole. No, he didn't get the pole. He got
Dakota Apple, yeah.
That was Dakota. So he got the most laps led and what? So he's got the +3. So that's going to give him 407.
You were asking me earlier, Gary, who are we going to interview? Are we going to bring up the top championship guys in addition to the race podium? Well,
yeah, I was kind of hoping that we would, see a different spread, and it's been. But if you look at the way that the season has been all year for this league, it's been kind of the same group of people. I mean, when I was doing the points of who would be dropping more races, the number of races that there were far fewer races that didn't involve Caleb, Gavin, and Nate in the top 3 than there were with them.
Yes.
There were virtually none. I mean, at one point or another, I think the only race that there wasn't in them in the top 3 is it was at the iRacing Super Speedway, and that's Caleb finished 21st there. Nate finished 5th, and Gavin finished 11th. But that was the only time that you really didn't see any one of those guys on the podium.
Correct. So we've got Garner has caught Dakota here, and they were side by side a bit. Garner tucks back behind Dakota. I've heard more brushing off the wall there. It might have been Dakota actually that brushed.
And Gardner's going to get that lap, so he's got that position. Good move. Now, does he have time to get to Caleb? That's going to be critical. That 4 seconds, I don't know.
Yeah, that seems like a lot. With that said, 10 laps to go. 10 laps to go. 115 and 125.
Got a lot of yipping and yapping going on the radio tonight.
Well, from what I've heard, there's been a lot of that all season. So
there has been a lot of that all season.
There were some drivers that were warned for it. So in a previous race,
they were actually warned to keep it down to an absolute minimum, and they're talking like it's air traffic control out there right now.
Well, we're spread out like significantly once again, although Brody Garner, he's the one that's on the move right now. Got a couple laps newer tires than Caleb up ahead.
Yeah, let's take a look at the interval there. I mean, he's 1.8 back?
Yes.
He's falling into this. There might be time. He cut it down from...
Yeah, there are lap cars involved, so Jasper there.
Jasper's been pulling down out of the way on the straight, so he's been playing very fair for everybody. And we got Brody coming up to Wes. Let's see if Wes is going to pull down out of the way.
I think that's Hill, isn't it?
No, I got Gardner, Wes in front of Gardner right now in terms of that pink car. The Sirius XM Shank.
Oh, you mean World War III?
Yeah.
Will.
Sorry.
The reason I know that Wes is no longer in this race is because
sorry, that's Wes Shire. He's 17th. Sorry.
Yeah, he's 17th, and he already said this is why I don't drive IR18 in the chat. he is a PM18 USF 2000 driver. So I asked him. I said, well,
cars with about the same amount of downforce, but with less power.
Yeah, I asked him. I said, "Don't you want to pretend to be an IndyCar driver?" And he said, "No, I want to pretend to be a Road to Indy driver."
5 to go. I don't think Garner's going to get there.
Yeah, he dropped about 0.4 of a second there in the last. I think Caleb was trying to get around some lap cars, and that's that rubber band effect, and then he's pulled off a little bit more now that there are no lap cars there.
So if everything stays the same, I think we're looking at 422, 419, and 407. And I know we got 4 laps to go, but I think Caleb is going to be your 3-time now RIL champion going into this next season. That's going to start, what, in July?
June.
And it will be exclusive coverage here, and it will just be me.
Yeah, that is the plan. Gary's going to be taking over the broadcast over here. I'm going to be taking some time off here next.
So I'm like a bad relative, just come on as a guest every now and then, and now I'm staying for good.
Over. So. Yeah. But actually, with that said, I'll have Lionheart on Wednesday nights, but
Gardner into the wall.
Mr. Action Man here tonight has been Brody Garner. But I'm going to try to do some races, I think, is what I'll try to do, Gary. Jasper getting around. Gonna be coming up to white flag here momentarily.
Yeah, we got Nate halfway down the back stretch. He's on the outside there of Hayden.
Hayden doesn't want to go all the laps here tonight. He wants to go one less than all the laps.
No, at this point in time to be lapped, I would be upset at this point.
I would be
come
too,
on,
actually.
man.
I would be too.
I would be. Come on.
White flag out.
Or it could be like Alex Vandesant did. I forget what league it was, but he got on the radio and asked for his lap back, and the guy gave it to him on the last lap. So
yes, he did. Well, I banked over in Lionheart Indy 500. You were spotting for me.
Yeah.
But luckily, Adam Blocker gave me my full 500 miles. So.
And here is your winner tonight, Nate Seifert, who just dominated. Just dominated.
He did what he needed to do.
Yeah, and I think it has to do. He has less screen on the car. That's just me.
Yeah. Still has screen on the car though, but Caleb Bensey's going to be champion here, a 3-time champion.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he's going to be champion. We're going to wait for the final results to come out, but you know what? I feel real bad for Gav because Gav did everything he did. It just that one stupid race missing with a wheel.
Yeah, that did not help. And what race was that again?
Long Beach, which would have been
which would have been a great race for him too.
For him, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So,
in this league, you've got to be good on both road courses and the ovals, and everybody. These top 3 are good on both.
Now, the interesting thing though that there was a point where Gav was in front, and Caleb had to make the positions back. Really, the changing point though was Brody giving up 3 spots on pit road. Really, that was the point.
Got both our winner and our champion doing donuts here.
So sometimes you go to the championship, and sometimes the championship comes to you. And we're going to probably hear a good off season of Dakota talking about the good luck that Caleb always has, and that he got a little bit of that tonight, because I don't think he was going to pass Brody on the racetrack straight up until that incident. And then once he got that incident, got out in front of him, track position is king here, and he was able to hold off and make up the difference in points. So I believe the final is 422 for Caleb, 419 for Gavin, and 407 for Nate. And then the pole bonus point will go to Dakota, who I believe is going to finish fourth. And and in a defense of your title, to finish fourth,
That's still pretty good.
we've had what 30 plus people that have been in this league this year.
Mm-hmm.
There's 30 plus other people that probably would love to have that position, and they're just not able to get it. So
well, I also remember Dakota laid down the gauntlet to everybody after he took that championship. He said, he
come
called
get me.
out everybody that come get me, and we had a few takers, and this is where we are now. I'm gonna do a commercial and set
Yeah,
up
we didn't get a chance to do much of
our-
that. Let's get that done. Pay the bills. Want to
That's
thank Schaeffer
exactly right.
again.
Yep.
There's two types of drivers out there. Drivers who know how to protect their investment and drivers who don't. Car owners who know how to get more miles per gallon and owners who don't. We're talking people who know their Schaeffer and people who don't. Which one are you? From cars to trucks to diesel workhorses, whatever you drive, there's a Schaeffer synthetic oil for you. Do you know your Schaeffer? Ask for it at an automotive retailer near you.
All right, we are back. So we're going to bring up Gavin Sanders. Do we have a confirmation, though, on the championship?
We have the final standings are up, and this is not without the drop week. So Caleb 10 over Gavin, 17 over Nate, and so that doesn't I believe it doesn't include the drop weeks yet. So
okay,
I don't know how that's taken into account, but I believe the total that I still have is 422, 419, and 407.
Well, we got Gavin Sanders here in the booth, our second place finisher here tonight, and second place in the championship, Gavin. But you did most everything you needed to do here tonight. I don't know if you were listening to me on the radio or on the broadcast, but I was like, I think Gavin should pit on lap 90 and try to do a little bit of an undercut. Because we saw who was it that did it early? Johnson did a great undercut.
And Short did, yeah.
Yeah, and so I was like, get out there and get that undercut, try to go for it. And at the end, you didn't even have to do it because Garner, he had an incident in the pit lane.
Yep.
But yeah, tell me about your race. You started fourth, finished second. A heck of a season. I'm sure you're wishing that your wheel did not go kaput for that. I think it was Long Beach race. Yeah, so some mechanical issues in that race.
Yeah. No, I'm really wanting that one back now. But what can you do? I mean, overall it was a good race. Played the strategy pretty decent. The start was very weird. I don't know if it looked weird for you guys, but the initial start was kind of obscure. The way that the leader got going.
Wasn't
and
that
then from
Dakota?
there, yeah. It was very well. It was. I don't think it was Dakota. I don't know what happened, but it was kind of a jumbled up sort of group of cars. And then we had that first yellow, and then just didn't capitalize right away. And I think if I might have gotten a little bit more and just pushed a little bit harder, maybe would have had a bit of a better shot at it. But obviously, you look back now, or you look back afterwards, and there's not really much you can do. But yeah, no, overall, it's been a really good season. Definitely my best, I would think, in RIL IndyCar. So that I have that to be proud of. And yeah, that's kind of that. But I do the strategy. I think we were on the same page.
Yeah. I was like, as soon as me and Gary noticed, like as soon as who do we say? It was Johnston. He had an issue, but he went up from like 12th to 5th through that cycle of pit stops. The first pit stop. So I was like, yeah, the undercut's gonna work here tonight. And just with how the lap count was, we knew it was like 50 laps maximum. And only 125 laps for the race. So, you could split it up and do like 40-40 or do 45, something like that. You did 34 in the final stint. So that was your undercut there. It worked pretty well, I'd say. You did everything you like short of winning the race, but that was kind of decided earlier on, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think things could have been a little bit different if I was talking about the incident with Brody on pit road where he didn't go full sideways. If he just came in and went sideways a little bit and didn't come to a complete stop,
Yeah.
then it probably would have just been your position and your position only. But the point when he came to sideways and then did a full
Yeah.
stop, that's when it opened the door for the next two cars, and that really, really is the deciding factor in the championship. Right there.
100% is because obviously not to belittle anything that Caleb did, he drove an amazing race. But if that didn't happen, and it was second and fourth for us, we would have been tied, and the wins would have
The
gone. I
wins would have
think
been
it
your
would have gone to
tiebreaker.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So that it kind of sucks, but obviously that's just racing. So
yeah. And
yeah.
but good thing we didn't have a playoff, though, right, Gary?
Playoffs? I'm talking about playoffs.
Yeah.
I'm
playoffs.
voting for that next season.
No. Well, you know what? Gary's going to be broadcasting that, so yeah, vote for that and make Gary
Yeah.
broadcast it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, hey, final shout outs, that kind of stuff. Thank yous. Anything. Yeah, the time is for you.
Yeah. Obviously, huge shout out to Caleb. Congratulations. And to Team Raceverse. Obviously, everybody did a fantastic job, and I think we were first, second, and fifth, which is very good, even though there's no technical teams championship. But we did very well. Shout out to hold on, Midwest Data. Midwest Data. Oh God. Okay, I'm yeah, brain gapping. Braden Motorsports, Alpine Stars, Stilo. And we're looking at Midwest Internet Exchange
There we go.
and
Midwest Data.
Fiber
There you go.
Data Exchange. Yeah. And Fat Bastard Burrito, of course. But yeah, that's kind of that, I think.
Well, I know you're going to be busy this summer, but are we going to see you back in June?
Pending the schedule.
Yeah.
If that all goes the way I hope.
We can't talk about all this,
No,
folks, but
no.
he's going to be
Correct.
busy. That's all we're going
We're
to say.
busy.
That's, I didn't
Busy.
say it. I
We're
just said he's
very
going to be
busy.
busy. He's going to be busy.
Busy.
Right.
But yeah, no, pending all the dates work out and everything, Wednesdays are kind of one of my good nights for jumping on the sim. So I hope to be back, obviously, as much as I can be, and if that all goes well, then yeah, time to finally put a whole season together and get it done.
Yeah, I also hope that Tuesdays will be good for you too. But a
Yeah.
heck of a season, and we'll see you back hopefully next season here.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Yep. So bringing up Nate now, Gary.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Yep.
Hey, Nate, Matt, and Gary up in the booth. Well, you did everything you needed to do here tonight. Short of getting the pole, I'm sorry, Dakota got that one, but you led. I don't know how many laps you led, but it had to be about just about all of them.
I got the total here.
Yeah, it's like probably 120.
122.
There you go.
Yeah, won the race, almost led every single lap, got the best lap, so you got two jewels out of the Grand Slam there.
That's not a full Grand Slam. I'm not happy then.
I know. Sometimes it just doesn't always go your way, Nate.
Yeah,
even though you took the green off your car, you did better.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, tell us about that chrome livery that you had this week, and tell us about your race.
I just brought it out because it's a night race and it's a season finale. So I think, I brought that out for night races from here on out. Kind of thanks Dakota first off for bringing, doing that work for me. But the race was pretty easy. The start was weird. I don't know if Dakota, what happened. I need to look back at it, but it seemed like Dakota and I were not at all lined up properly. And then once we got lined up, the green went and I hit it better than him, I guess. I don't know why, because I thought it was kind of weird how big of a jump I had. And then from there, yeah, it was just really easy. Knowing the line, the work, just running really the best race possible from there, just being consistent and making sure the car doesn't spin out off it too. That was the main bit tonight. We did that. We were successful, and we did what we had to. I know I needed some outside help. It doesn't help when the two people you need to not do well finish behind
Yeah.
you. But
Right,
it is
right.
what it is. I know that Caleb and Gavin would come out strong tonight. It sucks I crashed out at Watkins Glen because that this could have been really really interesting then. Um, but you look back at a season, you see a couple things you could have done better. I can pinpoint three things off the top of my head that immediately changed the season for me. But that's what it is. It is what it is. You take some lessons from that, you learn, and you come back better next year. That's how you win championships. So
Well, me and Gary knew you won the Formula Indy championship, so we knew you're good on the road courses. I hadn't seen you as much on the ovals, but now you've confirmed, that you're just as competitive on the ovals. I think what would you say? You always said you're calmer on the ovals, don't you?
I mean, definitely tonight I noticed it too. I was like, I'm not stressing at all about this. This is nice and easy. Um, yeah, I would say so. I mean, you look at my iRating, it's definitely a tale of two stories. A 36 or 700 on the oval side, and then like a 1800 on the road side. So it makes a difference. I would say certain tracks, yes, ovals are definitely better for me. Would I say I'm an all-around better oval guy? I don't know.
Well, all
Um,
3 of your wins this year came on oval, so in this season or in this league.
yeah, and I mean it's the bigger ovals, the mile and a half and two
Mhm.
milers. So I think that those tracks I do really well on.
You
Get
took the
less
big
than
hit
that.
at Phoenix.
Yeah, Phoenix,
So did
Phoenix,
everybody else.
Nashville, those tracks. That's not my forte per se, but you know, that's something I'll look at and I'll say check that off for next season. No, I gotta improve. We go to Iowa next season, so that'll be a track. We look to improve on, and we'll learn from this week. We'll learn from the season. We'll come back better than ever next season.
Yeah, if you kind of think about, I was looking at the numbers. You were only 15 from the lead. Um, I mean, that's as little as 3 cars passing on the racetrack all season long. I mean, that's how small it came down to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
heck
I
of
mean,
heck of a
I mean,
championship.
great
Yeah.
example is Red Bull Ring. I had that post race penalty drop me back 3 spots. You take that 1x out of the final corner and right there,
True.
Yes, yeah, that
stuff
one.
like
That
that,
one. Yep.
stuff like that. It just kills you. I mean, that moment you don't think, oh, this is really bad, but when you get to the end of the season and you get to these margins like this, it
Yeah.
kills. And that's something. Like I said, we'll reassess. We'll take the time off from this. The Indy cars on Wednesdays, and we'll just reassess. We'll come back better. It was good to know I still had this Formula Indy series season hasn't been the best for me so far.
Hmm.
So coming out here, finishing third, and a group of people that do really well in the ovals and road courses, I'll
Yep.
take that for sure.
Hey, and you mentioned something about your I rating on road. I think if you actually committed to it and ran some races, you'd be like 3K, 4K in no time.
I
So
haven't done an official. I don't think I've only done like 10 official road course
that's
races in
that's
5
exactly
years.
what I mean. Is you're
Yeah,
you're certainly more talented than that I rating shows. So
true.
yeah, but you don't need to prove anything over there because you're certainly doing it over in Formula Indy. You're doing it here. Great season, Nate. You got Midwest Kidney Warriors on the side of that car. You want to give a shout out to them or anybody else watching?
Yeah, first off, let's thank you guys since you're right here. You guys do a fantastic job um, tonight and also on Tuesday nights. It's awesome to go back and watch these races with the professionalism that you guys focus on. So I'll say
Checks in
that
the
to be
mail.
nice.
Checks in the mail.
Yeah, there you go. It is good to have have a broadcast to watch back for sure. Thank Kresge and all the admins here. They put on a great league. It's a good atmosphere. That's the nice thing about those two leagues is that the atmosphere. Matt, we've talked about it. It's a really good atmosphere.
Hmm.
So that's nice to have as well. And then thank the Midwest Kidney Warriors. They a great partner to be on board with. Shane and them, and then also want to thank SimMotion. They came on board to help one of my leagues out myself as well. So it's really cool to have them on board in ecency.com as well, which is a D platform I can't even pronounce it. We'll just give up on that. But it's a group. It's a different type of social media. So we're really proud to have them on board as well. So thank everyone for that race in the league here for making this an enjoyable season for sure.
Sounds good. Well, we'll see you in a week and a half, probably, or a week, or whatever it is, in Formula Indy, and
Less than a week.
we'll see you back here, hopefully. So the next season will be in June. We'll see you then here, hopefully.
All right. Thanks, Matt. Thanks,
Yep.
Greg.
Hey, thanks. Congrats.
Thank you.
So before we let's go ahead and bring Caleb up here. But just to kind of put into comparison to IndyCar history and how rare 3-point margins of victories are. Before, when USAC was doing it, they had a weird point schedule. USAC really encouraged consistency over wins. Because I was highlighted in 1978.
You might be getting that particular point system in next in a couple of weeks.
Yes, we will see that with the Lotus 79. But that was really highlighted in 78 when Tom Sneva, who never won a single race, ended up winning the national championship just based upon consistency. Only 6 seasons in the history of IndyCar have come down to 3 points or less. That's the 85 season where Al Unser Sr. beat Al Unser Jr. The really weird first IRL season where Buzz Calkins and Scott Sharp ended up tying for that. It counts, but it shouldn't count. The 99 season where Montoya beat Franchitti on the tiebreaker of wins. Hornish beating Weldon in 2006 by the same thing, by a number of wins. And then they beat Castro Neves by just 2 points on top of that. So that's how close that championship was. And Dixon was only 15 points out. That's the closest one I can think of, period, in history. The 2012 Hunter Ray championship, he won by 3 over Power. The 2015 Dixon and Montoya tied going into Sonoma, and Dixon ended up finishing better and ended up I think it came down to victories that season as well, and Dixon won that. So that's it. I mean, about a whole history and all the number of laps and all the hundreds and thousands of names of everything in IndyCar and everything in history, only 6 have come down to championships of 3 points or less, and you get one here in the RIL. That's very rare, and it's even more rare to have more than 2 people go into a final weekend with that chance to win. And with that said, we got the guy that did everything he needed to do, drove a safe race, and just took advantage of things that happened in front of him on the racetrack, and by the skin of your teeth, man, you are the champ.
Yeah.
3-time champ. So you can say it this time. You go 3-time champion.
3-time. There you go. I know. After how the season was going earlier in the year, I didn't really think this was going to be a possibility. But yeah, I'm definitely happy it all came together in the end for sure.
Yeah, there was some struggles at some points, but you just kind of put it together. Some luck might have came your way. Sure, Dakota will be reminding you about that. I think Gary already said it. Was he talking to you on the radio when he was kind of behind you, maybe pressuring you there a little bit?
Oh my gosh, he's like a backseat driver.
I knew it. I told you, Gary. I said I knew Dakota's going to be all over that.
So first of all, I don't know if you guys caught him coming out of the pits, but I was passing Logan, but then he was also blending out of the pit, so I had to go like all the way down to the white line to take him 3 wide and pass them both. And of course, he gave me a really hard time about that one, but I thought that was the safest move, and I really needed that position. So that was I mean, it was a little sketchy. I thought it was safe, but he after that, he was on me about every little thing and every little close call that he thought was a close call from 2 seconds back. So, yeah, I mean, it was basically the last thing was just keeping it safe and trying to virtually put in 2 earplugs. But
this is where you
yeah.
need to get. I have both an iRacing mute for voice and a Discord mute for when things get a little wild in the Discord chat. So I recommend that.
Hey, I mean, I've gotten used to it in a sense, but yes, he was definitely all over me on on every little bit. So yeah, it's Homestead going. I have a hard time figuring out and getting into a rhythm, but eventually did kind of get into a rhythm thereafter, or probably midway through the first stint. And from that point on, bottom of turn 1 and 2 is very, very sketchy. And I mean, I was very hard to find me down there at any point because I just didn't really want to risk that. So just found a rhythm, try to hang in there, and undercut when thought it was okay or safe without like a yellow coming out. And I mean, just trying to keep the car in one piece and find speed where you can. But I'm pretty happy it all came together for sure at the end.
Tell me about qualifying. How are you feeling after qualifying?
Uh, Not overly great.
Yeah,
Again,
that
like
was
I mean, I held it wide open and held the bottom pretty well. So, I mean, I asked what they were running tools wise, and I was way off from what they were doing. So,
okay.
uh, I mean, again, it was wide open. It was on the white line, so I didn't really take too much in terms of that confidence into the race. But yeah, starting back there with the way that thing started, I was definitely on the defensive, just looking for any person going sideways. Unfortunately, there was two or three in front of me just in turns 1 and 2. So
Yeah, I thought I was looking back in it because there's quite a few red and black cars in here, and
yeah,
there were a couple that were turned around. I was like making sure to click your name to see is like
yeah, yeah.
was Caleb involved in that one, and
Uh,
luckily you were not for your sake. But yeah, you did what you needed to do. You kept
mhm,
Gavin in sight all night.
yep.
Um, it might have been a little closer. So Brody Garner had an issue on pit entry, and that's what put you like only one place behind Gavin. But this season we've got our top three in points are 1, 2, 3 in this race as well. So it was very close, and you've got your third championship here in the RIL, 3 of 4 that we've run. Um,
Yeah,
so pretty good feeling for you, I'd imagine, and heck of a job.
yeah. Thank you. It almost makes me a little bothered that I didn't get the championship last year. Now at this point, but uh, yeah,
Well, now
no.
you got some work to do in the FIS.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that was lost very very early on. Let's put it that way. But yeah,
that one's go for race wins, not worry about championship.
yeah, yeah. Looking forward to Indy for sure. But uh, yeah, obviously, like I said, didn't really have any big expectations after some earlier luck. So uh, definitely an honor to get 3 out of 4 here in this REL league. It's been obviously for all of us, not just me. It's been a good time, good community, and really happy to be a part of it. And to get 3 out of 4 definitely isn't bad too. So just really glad it all came together because it was this wouldn't be the track I would choose to have the last race at in terms of my strong points. But just like you said, kept Gavin in range and just try to keep it safe or keep the car in one piece and just bring it home in a good position. And thankfully, it definitely all came together.
Would you rather a Gateway be the championship or this track?
Probably Gateway.
Really?
I
I'm very
as
surprised. But I
yeah
mean,
as
you've done two of 3 was a Gateway, so yeah.
yeah. I think you can. I don't know. I've been able to find more of a rhythm at Gateway. It's equally tough. I do think they're both really tough, but uh, I feel like I'm a little more comfortable or have a little bit more speed at Gateway. Um, but either way, I think they're pretty close. But yeah, just happy to get it done for sure.
Well, it sounds like you're going to need to increase the size of your trophy shelf here. Add a third
Yeah,
trophy. There
yeah.
might be, you might have to ask Kresge about this, but there might be talk of a watch. I heard something
Oh,
about a watch. So you might want to mention that one to him as
now that would
well.
be pretty cool. I might have to send him a personal message after that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to
Right.
double check what was going on there.
About
Maybe that
this
was next
watch.
season. I don't know.
About
Yeah, yeah.
this
But
watch.
what'd you say, Gary?
So about this watch.
So
Yeah.
it better not have been next season, Max. You just officially let
Well,
the cat out of the bag on that one, because
yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was this season. So
yeah, yeah,
we
yeah,
will see. But hey, I mean, a great championship. And take any time you need for thank yous, that kind of thing. Everybody, you've got a family that supports you, girlfriend, all that kind of stuff. Take the time you
yeah,
need.
yeah. Well, thank you. Obviously, thanks to you guys as always, putting on the whole season. Great broadcast. And my family always says they enjoy these races, having you guys both in the booth. So thanks to you guys, and I'll race first. And Fawn and Fanny, I know you tried the 20-team race first. We're getting that fixed. I think the time expired on that one, but we'll get it back up. 20-team race first on Fawn and Fanny. Seriously, go check it out. A lot of good products, both for guys and girls. So check that out as always. And yeah, family and friends. There's definitely quite a few that watch every week, which you guys know, and really, really appreciate all their support. And, obviously, it's pretty awesome to get these podiums, to get these wins and championships when they're supporting too. So makes it extra special. So thanks to you guys as always, and yeah, again, glad to glad to get a third championship here. It's pretty awesome.
Great job, Caleb. Any other final thoughts, Gary? We'll let Caleb continue his celebration.
Well, for folks that watching from home, whether you're watching this live or just at some point saw this, clicked on it, started watching it on YouTube, like the league. This league had a lot of great growth this year. 30 plus people for a good number of races, a good quarter of the season. We had bumping. We had lineups that routinely featured 25 plus cars. That's we've seen where some leagues here recently have suffered some shrink because of the pandemic and people now kind of returning to life as normal. RL tends to looks to be thriving. So if anyone out there that's wanting an IndyCar expert or not even an IndyCar expert, just you like IndyCar, you want to get into this thing, join the service, get a subscription on iTunes. Subscription on iTunes. Now I'm talking about my old podcast. No, get a subscription of iRacing. Get get in there, get your licenses, and then you could be part of these lineups coming up here in June. But this is a great league, and if you've watched and you're thinking that I want to be a part of this, yes, you do want to be a part of this. Jump on in here and be a part of the Revolution IndyCar League's Schaeffer's IndyCar Series, and you'll have a blast doing it. A lot of people that made it their first season had great seasons. All those folks that made their first starts this year in the league did great job. I'm looking at Brody who came in not all races, but when he showed up well. Not a great night for Justin Miller, but when he normally is in contention on an oval, he was doing reasonably well. JJ Wang showed a lot of improvement. Will Weisbrod, him and his buddies have come into the league this year, and that's been great to have them added to the lineup. But just a whole bunch of good vibes about the RL. So if you're thinking about joining, this is a prime time to join. So other than that, I can read us out if you want us to.
Well, I had just some final stuff to say as well, Gary.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, just thank you for jumping on board. I mean, you're an essential part of Race First. So I have to thank you. Also, thank Christopher Kresge, the admin over here. This is the league that started Race First, and I've always thought Race First and RIL kind of go hand in hand. So I really appreciate him bringing us on the first season. I want to thank Kristen Jasper. Also, just he did all these graphics. He takes his time. He does these graphics. Really appreciate that, and just everybody from RIL, everybody in the Kermit Illuminati, the RIL Illuminati.
Don't ask people.
Great, don't ask. But well, there will be a Thunderdome League. Will start here in a couple of weeks, and that's kind of their league. So you'll join that. But I really appreciate you taking on everything, Gary, and really just this Race First thing it's we're IndyCar first in Race First. I there's no other broadcaster that can say something like that. Like we really only broadcast IndyCar and anything that's like associated to IndyCar, and that's what we want to do. That's what we know the most about, and that's what you want to do as well. So it's a good thing we found each other in the world of the internet, and
being that we only live about 25 minutes away from each other.
Correct. Yeah. But yeah, it's just this whole thing of like you get into these races, and Club Indiana is in the IndyCar races. Club Indiana has a lot of drivers. IndyCar is close to our hearts here in Indiana. So yeah, so I really appreciate it, Gary, and I'll let you read us out then.
Well, that's it for tonight, folks. Once again, your podium from Homestead. Not much different than the championship is Nate Seifert was winning the race, did everything he had to do. Gavin Sanders did everything he needed to do, finished second. Caleb Bensey did everything he needed to do, finished third. So your final championship standings have Caleb bettering Gavin and Nate by slim margins for the Revolution IndyCar League's Schaeffer's IndyCar Series Championship. Join Raceverse again in 2 weeks from tonight at Atlanta Motor Speedway for round 1 of the Revolution IndyCar League's Daredevil Series. That's Wednesday night, March 9th at approximately 7:50 Eastern Time. Again, that's 7:50 Eastern Time on YouTube at youtube.com/Raceverse. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not an easy one, so please do leave a comment below and let us know what you thought of tonight's race. If you enjoyed tonight's coverage, support us by smashing like on the video. And if you're new, click subscribe. And while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so you don't miss out on more Race versus iRacing programming, including our continuing coverage of the official iRacing Fixed IndyCar Series, the Monday Night Indy Split, which actually has its championship Monday coming up this Monday. And you'll see us most Monday evenings at 7:15 Eastern Time right here on YouTube. And the Midwest Kidney Warriors Formula Indy Series on Tuesday evenings. Not this Tuesday, though. Wait till next week, though. That's where we're going to Indianapolis. And that's approximately 8:45 Eastern Time right here on YouTube. Join Raceverse for the best fixed IndyCar oval and road coverage every single week. For business inquiries and to learn more about Raceverse and what we do, visit raceverse.com or follow us on Twitter. You can follow me, Gary Gotzo, on Twitter at Gary Gotzo. So, hey, that's it for Matt Houston. It sounds like he's going to be signing off for the first time, but signing off for the last time, but not the final time. Let's put it that way. And for everyone at Raceverse, I'm Gary Gotzo saying all good night. And to all of our men and women serving the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Thanks for watching. Congratulations to Caleb Bensey for becoming the Revolution IndyCar League Schaeffer's IndyCar Series champion for winter 2021-2022. Good night, and we will see you all next season.
Ever since I've switched to Schaeffer's oil, I've never had a reason to even try anything else. And that's one thing that I'm proud about, is the fact that I can't tell you how good something else is, because I know how good Schaeffer's oil is. My engine builders, Tony and Glenn Clements, have said about the oil we run. They've told us that out of all the motors that they get and rebuild every year, ours looks the best, and a lot of that has to do with the oil that we run. One of the things that I love about Schaeffer's oil is the fact that all of their reps are out in the field and at the racetracks with us, seeing what all the racers need, seeing what ideas we have or anything that we can improve on. And you just can't beat the customer service of having a rep for, one of the main components of our race team, whether it's at our engine oil, transmission fluid, rear end oil. Having somebody there that represents that brand and also gives us support and also the knowledge that we need to be making the right calls and just helping us out with our entire racing program. It means a lot to our race team to have that. My name's Chris Ferguson, and I drive the number 22 dirt late model. I've been using Schaeffer's oil racing products since 2009. I absolutely have no doubt that we're using the best products that is possible for dirt late model racing.